The fourth principle of healthy eating is nutrient timing, which has a 5% contribution to your health. The previous video was about macronutrient amounts, which is the third principle, so if you missed it, make sure to check it out. Okay, so to start, let's define this principle. Nutrient timing has a 5-part definition. The first is meal frequency, which refers to the amount of meals eaten. The second is meal spacing, which refers to the amount of time between meals. The third is per meal calorie distribution, which refers to the calorie content of each meal. The fourth is per meal macronutrient distribution, which refers to the macronutrient ratios in each meal. And the fifth is timing to activity, which refers to specific pre-workout or post-workout nutrition. These 5 timing factors taken together blend into a countless number of nutrient timing patterns. Okay, but what kind of nutrient timing pattern is the best? To answer this question, let's answer the following question first. Is specific nutrient timing even important? To do so, let's take a look at some arguments for and against it. The first argument for it is that eating large, infrequent meals can reduce your energy levels. If you eat 2 meals a day, each meal is so massive that it bogs you down and makes you sleepy for the next 2 hours. On top of that, going for long stretches of time without eating can also reduce your energy levels, as you're not consuming any calories, and since activity is hugely important to health, not having the energy to be active can lead to worse health outcomes. The second argument for it is that timing fats and carbs to training can improve your training performance. Eating less fat and more carbs before and after training usually allows you to both train harder and recover better for next time. And the third argument for it is that consistent protein consumption can support muscle mass. While your body stores carbs as glycogen in your muscles and liver, and fats in specialized fat cells, it doesn't have a dedicated storage for protein. So if your body lacks protein for vital functions, and none is coming in from the digestive tract, it'll turn to your muscles for spare parts. This means that eating an even spread of protein can both prevent the breakdown of muscle tissue and allow dietary protein to be best used by the body for biological protein formation. Sounds impressive, huh? But that's only half of the picture. Now let's go over some arguments against specific nutrient timing. The first argument against it is that health is demonstrated at a wide variety of meal frequencies. When we look at studies that in various ways compare different kinds of eating schedules, from alternating day fasting to 6+ meals per day, we find that the amount of meals you eat just doesn't have a big impact on your health. The second argument against it is that meal frequency does not affect metabolic rate. Although many people believe that frequent meals boost your metabolism, it's just not true. When calories are equated, there's just no difference between eating 1 or 6 meals per day. Yes, your metabolism does slow down when you don't eat for a while, but when you eat a huge meal, it revs up like crazy to digest and absorb it, cancelling out the whole period of lower metabolism that preceded the meal. The third argument against it is that fat loss and fat gain with big meals cancels out. Similarly to the metabolic rate relationship, meal timing alteration doesn't alter fat loss and gain in any big ways. Yes, a bigger meal does result in more fat gain than a smaller meal, but since bigger meals are less frequent, the fat has more time to burn off, so the relationship of meal frequency and gain fat simply doesn't exist. It's all about how many calories you end up consuming. The fourth argument against it is that circadian eating patterns for health do not exist. Once you equate for calories, macros, and food composition, there's just no clear relationship between time of day and health effects of eating. Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day, and food will not magically turn into fat after 6 p.m., so feel free to eat whenever you want. The fifth argument against it is that big meals are not a problem for those without medical conditions. Sure, for those with serious heart problems and some other medical conditions, big meals may be too stressful to digest, but for most people, large meals are not less healthy by their size alone when in the context of a calorie-balanced diet. And the sixth argument against it is that there's no reliable effect of snacking on hunger. Some people claim that snacking keeps them from binging, while others claim that snacking is just a way to add extra calories between meals. When we look at the research on snacking and hunger, there's just not a conclusive trend in the study results. If you find that snacking helps you, snack, but if you find that it doesn't, don't snack. Okay, so now that we've covered both sides of nutrient timing, we see that it's just not a big deal. Sure, professional athletes could benefit from it, but if you're just a regular person trying to improve your health, you shouldn't stress over such minute details. In fact, the stress of having to precisely time your meals to the minute can actually be worse for your health than an irregular eating pattern, so don't even worry about it. But to not let you leave this video empty-handed, here's 4 tips that you can implement into your diet right away. The first is to eat 3 to 6 meals per day, as crazy timing extremes pose issues with consistency and sustainability. The second is that to promote energy, support muscle mass, and reduce cravings, most meals should be spread relatively evenly through the day. This means a meal in the morning, 1 to 2 meals throughout the day, and a meal about an hour or 2 before going to bed. The third is that if you're training hard, you should consider consuming a bit less fat and a bit more carbs in the meals before and after you train, which will improve your energy levels during the workout and replenish your glycogen stores after it. And the fourth is to eat when you're most hungry. If you're most hungry in the evening, consume most of your calories later in the day, but if you're most hungry in the morning, consume most of your calories early in the day. So long as your calorie balance is accounted for, you can eat your food when it's most convenient for you. The next video in this series will be about the principle of hydration, so stay tuned and see you then. Peace!